Hey beautiful people, welcome to my channel. My name is Busisiwe Dlamini Khariri. Today we are going to do basic unit calculations because sometimes in the lab we find ourselves having to calculate to convert from one unit to another, but be rest assured I'll give you a full recipe on how to do that. So firstly, what you need to do, you need to put together your ingredient, of which your ingredient in this case is going to be your step ladder. So this is how basically you will draw your step ladder, and for you to be able to remember how the units follow each other in a sequence form, what you can do, you can use this rhyme. You can say King Hecta died miserably drinking chocolate milk. Then you will know exactly how they are supposed to follow each other. And again, on that note is that when it comes to this is a meter, which is a base unit. So basically a base unit will change depending on what you are talking about. So basically a meter is a base unit for distance. And then if you are talking about volume, then that's when here it's going to change and be a liter. And when you are talking about weight, then it's going to change being a gram. But for you to be able to remember, you can just cram that or know that rhyme the way it is, and then you'll be able to know what's happening there. And another thing that you will see here on our ingredient, you will see there's an arrow going up. So basically what this arrow going up represents, it's telling you that what you must do when you are moving from a lower unit or a smaller unit to a higher unit, then it means you must divide. Why are we dividing? The reason you are dividing, what you can do, you can think about a car when it's going uphill. Usually when a car goes uphill, the speed starts to decrease. So it means because this one is smaller than that one, then you will have to use the division sign. And when you are going down, so this arrow going down is showing you that when you are moving from a higher unit going to a lower unit, what you need to do, you need to multiply. Still imagining a car going downhill, what happens is that the speed starts to pick up. So now you're gonna associate it with an increase because the multiplication sign is associated with an increase. Then you're gonna multiply when you move from a higher unit to a lower unit. So basically once you have this, you have your full ingredient that you will need to be able to do conversions. So usually even during an exam or a test, just make sure that you can draw this at the back of your answer sheet so that you can be able to refer to it if you do get a question about conversion. So now since we do have our ingredient, now we need to go into steps or the method on how we are going to use this step ladder. So basically I have 4 steps for you to be able to follow. So step number 1, what you need to do is for you to determine where you are. So when you are reading that question, where does that question tell you, where are you here on the step ladder? So that's step number 1. And then step number 2, now you need to determine where are you going. So from which unit, and you are going to which unit. So where are you going? And then the third step, now you need to determine whether are you going up the ladder or are you going down the ladder, so that you can be able to choose the appropriate mathematical sign that you are supposed to use. And the first step now that you need to do is to determine the number of steps that you need to take from where you are to go to where you are supposed to go. So now let's quickly do an example so that we can see if we can be able to use this recipe that we have here. Let's say you do have a question that says you must convert 100 centimeters to meters. So they are telling you you must move 100 centimeter to meters. So this is a question. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna follow our steps. So step number 1, it says you need to determine where are you. So from the question, it says I'm at here on centi. This is where I am standing, and it says I must go to meter, which is here is the meter. So already I have determined where I am. I've also determined where I'm going, and now the next step is to determine whether am I going up or am I going down. So by looking at this, because I'm moving from centi going to meter, it means I am going up the ladder. So I can just write my 100 here. Then because I have determined that I am going up, it means I must use a division sign. So now the last step says calculate the number of steps that it's going to take you to move from centi to meter. So now you're going to calculate the steps. So we are moving now. 1, 2. So now the number of steps, they are equal to the number of zeros that you're going to use. So you're just going to write 1, 2. And I usually say always add 1 in front. The reason I am saying the number of steps will be the same as the number of zeros is because between each, the difference between the units, it's 10. So the difference between milli and centi is 10. The difference between centi and deci is 10, and so on. So that is why there's 0. So it means for me to move from centi to meter, because I'm going to pass by 2 steps, then it means I'm going to pass by 2 tens. So that is why they give you 100. And then you can just punch this as it is into your calculator and say 100 divided by 100, which is going to give you 1. So basically it means 100 centimeter is equals to 1 meter. So basically this is how you're going to use your step ladder and your method that I've given you to be able to convert. It does not matter whether you are moving from a smaller to a higher or from a higher to a smaller. And then thank you very much. That's it from me. Now what you need to do is to go and practice and practice. If you have any comments or any questions, you can put them there on the comment section. And if you need any assistance or coaching with preparing for your board exam, you can contact me. I will leave my email address on the description box. Ta-da!